How do I create the ultimate white pages for telemarketing?
This is your first day in real estate, and I am your real estate sales trainer and coach, James Festini. And this is the program that's going to teach you how to sell more real estate in less time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am James Festini, Southern California real estate agent since 1993, and I'm also a real estate sales trainer and coach. And fortunately for you, I walk the walk and I talk the talk, and I hit record and share it with you. Please hit subscribe, hit the little bell notification so that you get alerted when I do a new video. But the next level is a membership for $50 a month. If you hit the join button, you will have access to every video I've ever recorded. Most of it's archived. You've never seen it before. All of my courses, the digital mayor, my expired stuff, my for sale by owner, pretty much everything I've ever taught is on a video that you've never seen. You hit the join button, you will be able to binge watch hundreds of hours of my content organized. You can enjoy that for only $50 a month. So anyhow, that platform is available for you. Now let's get back to the important topic, the definitive white pages. If you've ever taken my CRM mastery course or any of my telemarketing style courses, you've heard me mention a definitive white pages, a phone book. And I want to teach you the technicalities of how to do this so that you don't screw it up. You see, in my relationship with my wife as a real estate agent, we have this running joke called deleting duplicates. That means we're wasting a ton of time. It starts back in like 1999. We were using Top Producer. Remember that old clunky thing? Well, anyhow, I would collect databases from different sources, and when you import them into a CRM, meaning name, number, phone book, where you get them from the title companies or you buy them from all these different sources, you put them into a database. The problem is that very few softwares have the ability to delete duplicates or merge the data so that if John Smith comes in from one source and John Smith comes from another source, it recognizes that John Smith, there's actually two John Smiths. One is on Main Street and one is on XYZ Street. Does that make sense? So the thorn in my side is duplicates. And we used to spend a lot of time, free time, off time, deleting duplicates, meaning wasting time, making sure our database was pristine. So here's what I'm going to show you how you can do this much easier now. It'll save you a lot of effort, and it'll make you a better telephone prospector. Now, why would I want to have a definitive white pages? Let me explain to you. If you have a database of, say, 1,000 phone numbers, let's say you go to Mojo and you go to their lead store and you download your city, and let's say that city gives you, let's just say 10,000 phone numbers, right? 10,000 contacts. What people fail to realize is that the do not call list is going to slaughter 50 to 70% of those phone numbers. So if you have 10,000 numbers in a database, you're going to end up with maybe 3,000 phone numbers because of the do not call list, even with any source. Even with Mojo being a good source and all the other sources I'm going to tell you about, there's no telephone company / list provider that says our list is really good. They'll all say good numbers, but the truth is that some of them just have bad numbers. RedX being one of the worst. I'm not even going to go there, but the data is terrible. Anyhow, if I go in and I get this data and I put it into a database, let's say we start with our origin, 10,000 phone numbers, the do not call list takes it out. Now you only have 3,000 numbers. If you're doing a triple dialer or you're doing a lot of telephone numbers, you're going to smoke through that list within 3 to 5 days. Am I right? So you'll have a database that will last a week, 2 weeks, and then you'll be done. You'll have to redial the phone list again. So what do? You make a definitive or ultimate white pages. Here are the steps, very specific steps to avoid this deleting duplicates and screwing up your database. You begin with Mojo. You go to their lead store and you get all of the phone numbers and you build out your database, and let's say it's 3,000 because of the do not call list. When you download it, Mojo will always scrub their data sourced from their source against the do not call list. The data sources that you go from elsewhere might give you a little bit of a scrubbing power, but the reality is that you cannot rely on anyone, even Mojo, to protect you from the do not call list and any possible side effects of calling the wrong person. So we'll start with Mojo. You begin with the Mojo database and you download the list, and now you have 3,000. Here's the next one you're going to go to. I believe I have the affiliate link below. These are affiliates. Everybody supports me, but it's because I use them, not because they suck, okay? I don't sell out. I just sell it to you because I'm buying it myself, and I want you to use it. Mojo's got good data, okay? We get the Mojo database, and you import it into your CRM. Hopefully, you know, if whatever you're using, you import it into your CRM. Now you have 3,000. Now you go to Cole. Cole also has good, the better, or the best data. This data set, some people will say, you know, it's the same thing, but trust me, it's not. You go to Cole and you say, Cole, give me the city. Cole will say, hey, I've got 14,000 of them. When you bring them in, all of a sudden it's not 14,000 after scrub with the do not call list, it's 4,000. And now you lay it on top of Mojo's data and you say import. Inside of that system, it's going to say, you're going to get this alert that says, hey, there's like 3,000 duplicates. We're going to import 1,000. What do you want to do with these other 3,000? Very important here. Keep old. Do not overwrite Mojo's data. Because again, when it's sourced from them, they will scrub it against the do not call list. Just a little more protection, but you always want to keep the original source, which the best data is Mojo's, but it's just not enough. It's not their fault. It's just not enough numbers. So you get Cole, right? My affiliate link, make sure you use it, please. You get Cole's data. They give you 14,000 numbers, but once it's down the do not call list, maybe now it's 4,000. You overlay it, and they say, hey, well, there's some duplicates. Keep the old original Mojo. You lay it over, but delete the duplicates. You say, keep the old stuff, bring in the new stuff, but keep the old stuff, and it will eliminate the duplicates before it comes in, and now your database is 4,000 instead of 3,000. Now, what the advantage is that you are using two sources where your competition is probably only using one, if they're even doing this at all. Most of the stuff, you guys are going to be like, this video has nothing to do with me. I'm not picking up the phone. I'm afraid to call. But if this matters to you, you're going to be like, that's how you do it. That's how you don't run out of numbers. People say, how do you have so many numbers? I keep running out of numbers. I don't want to comply with the do not call list because I don't have enough phone numbers. Well, here's the solution to the problem. You get more numbers. I don't have to worry about running out of numbers because I source them from multiple sources. I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, if I wasn't in compliance with the do not call list, I'd have more numbers, but I'd also be, I'm not going to go there, so I'm not even going to bother with that. So now here's what we do. We go into Cole, right? We lay it on top of Mojo. Now we have a database of 4,000. I have another source. Telephone. It's at the end of this video. You'll see it. I don't remember who they are. I used them once, grabbed the data, and they gave me like 50,000 phone numbers. Who knows where they get it? Who knows where they get it? And there's a button there where you, I think it's info listing. At the end of the video, I'm looking back like the video's behind me. At the end of this video, you'll see who they are and then write that down. You get Cole, you get them. Now you got the Cole database. You get this other listing source, and they had a lot of phone numbers. And then you say, hey, don't give me stuff on the do not call list. Just go ahead and scrub it. Let every one of these scrub their own do not call list. It's just fine. You're getting more numbers. So this one source that I'm telling you about gave me like 50,000 numbers in the city. I don't know who they are, what they are. I don't care if it's clean or not. It's affordable, but some of the stuff, it gets very expensive. Unfortunately, that's what you do. You want to telemarket. You got to buy a list. You're not going to get off this scot-free. Mojo is still the cheapest list, but you're just not going to get enough numbers. You got to outsource. So you get Mojo layer first, Cole's the next layer, right? And then you go and you grab another database from this other source. Let's say it was like 30, 40,000. I go in there and this 30 or 40,000 told me, hey man, there's like 4,000 duplicates as you're importing. What do you want to do? I say, keep the original. So it grabs the original 3,000 from Mojo, including that other 4,000, which was kind of scrubbed from Cole, but you know, I'm not relying. I do my own compliance beyond this, but this is just kind of saves a step or two in like eliminating the majority of these people. So anyhow, there they are, and it brings in that other 20 or 30. Now my database is no longer 4,000 after the do not call list and this whole scrubbing. Now my database is 10,000 phone numbers for the city. Now remember, your competition only has 4 in the city. Now you have 10,000 and they're still scrubbed of the do not call list. That means when you pick up the phone, your odds increase that you're going to speak to people who don't really get hit a lot because you're not using the main sources, right? If you buy your stuff from all of these other, besides Mojo, there's 10 or 15 other telemarketing, teledialers, real estate software companies like the one I mentioned earlier that isn't that good. But if you do have them, or you have access to them, or you've gotten their geo leads, again, grab all the geo leads just before you leave them and cancel or whatever you want to do with them. I don't use them, but you grab all your data and bring it in there and say, what do you say? Mojo's first, Cola's second, that other source is third, and now you're bringing in this fourth source. Delete the duplicates, right? Bring it in, don't overwrite the old stuff, but bring in the new stuff, and then suddenly your database is 12,000. Then you go into, I gotta see, one members only kind of thing. I got a guy on Fiverr. It's not $5, but the software company, Fiverr. He was probably about $80, $90, $100. But again, this data is not cheap, right? Some of it's more expensive, but the more expensive, the better it is. But it doesn't matter, because it's not as if your city's exploding with phone numbers. You're building the definitive phone book. And now you are 4 times larger than any other phone book in your city that any other agent has. You probably have more numbers than Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, any of the local telecommunication company. You've got like a better phone book of numbers that people are going to pick up. Maybe, maybe not. You go to this guy I got, right? He gave me a lot for like $80 or $90 or $100, whatever he charges. It's been years since I grabbed him. He gave me like the whole county, right? 144,000 numbers. I didn't need more than like a big chunk of it was like 20,000. He had 20,000 numbers. All of a sudden I lay it on top of the city, and guess what happens? It says, what do you want to do? I merge the duplicates. I get rid of, I say, go ahead, bring in, don't keep the old, bring in the rest, and it overrode it. Now my database is 15,000 stronger. 15,000 phone numbers. 15,000 numbers. Now there, depending on how fast you call, depending on how you rotate, depending on how your call options are set up, how all sorts of things jive in the dialer, now you're talking about a career. Like 15,000 numbers. I couldn't survive on 15,000 numbers. I need like 45 to 50,000 numbers. And now you do more than one city. I'm talking about one city. But here's a couple of the reasons why you would do this. It seems expensive, but let's say you get a new expired, or let's say there's a new for sale by owner, or let's say something happens where you need to know the name and number of that individual. Chances are that when you go to look, you don't need to look in any other source but your own phone book, right? You don't need to go looking. Forget if you're non-compliant, then do the same thing. Just don't check the box with the do not call list. Now you have this ultimate phone book, right? That I comply, you don't comply, whatever. But then now you have every phone number in this, practically every number. Let me backpedal to 1993 when there was this thing called Haynes Crisscross Directory. This was a fat book that had every phone number really imaginable. It was before the internet, right? 1993. And you had this fat book. And if a new expired came up, you would be able to crisscross, meaning you cross-reference, you look up the city, address, and then boom, their number was there. Even before the do not call list, even before cell phones, even before any of this stuff, if you went to Main Street and Main Street had 10 houses, guess how many numbers you had in 1993? 4 houses. So you still were only getting maybe 40% of the phone numbers in existence. I believe that if I knew if the technology was available then as it is now, and I could do what I do, I believe I have probably 70% of the phone numbers in existence. Now, above and beyond that, you can use software like White Pages USA. I subscribe to something called Spokio, which is another background check. There's a lot more involved now in telemarketing. Sure, if you're doing your cold calling. Now, we're talking about cold calls. So complete strangers, watch the do not call list, pick up the phone and say, are you interested in selling your house? This is about massive turnover. But when you convert one, let's say you get a lead from that source and they say, yeah, maybe later, and then you go back to call them and they don't answer the phone. And then you call them again, they don't answer the phone. Then you're going to have to do a little more reconnaissance. Hopefully you got their email address, right? You put them into the systems to give them the CMAs that members only would know what I'm talking about. You do a little bit of razzle dazzle, you put them in front, get them to the top. But you can see that they're checking your data, but they're not answering the phone because that's just not what people do anymore, right? So now what do? You can go to your alternate source. Mojo has something called Skip Tracer that will do like a secondary check to scrub other sources from the internet. Not as like, it still fills in a lot of blanks, which will search, the internet for numbers that may or may not be there, especially if like you found a lead and one of the numbers not on the do not call list, the other one is, then you can do a skip trace within Mojo, which is, I love skip trace. I skip trace all the time. The skip tracer function will fill in a blank and say, hey, by the way, this is a do not call number, but if it's a lead of yours, I call it. Me personally, I'd be like, hey, it's me, and they'll be like, oh, hey, how's it going? And you will communicate and reach them by having a resource of all of these phone numbers. So there you have it in a nutshell, how to create a definitive white pages phone book. Most of you, this was probably like in one ear out the other. It doesn't make sense. But for those of you who are running out of phone numbers, for those of you who are trying to figure out, man, how do you have enough numbers to call? Everybody's on the do not call list. That's not true. I know it's frustrating for you to go into this business, think you're going to pick up the phone and start calling, and then when you hit a few buttons, you realize like you only got 200 numbers. Man, I thought this city, the whole circle prospecting, right? People are like, I'm going to circle prospect, I'm going to circle dial, and they find out that circle only had 20 numbers. Like, whoops, I better make a bigger circle. And then you include more people because you just don't have access to phone numbers. Most sources will only give you maybe 20 out of 100 phone numbers. If you can invest time and effort in doing this, you will take that 20 to maybe 50. And to have 50% of the phone numbers in your city after the do not call list, that's pretty huge. That will give you access to phone numbers that don't exist. Often I'll have people say, how did you get my number? Well, I searched the internet and I find it. I mean, I don't know if they want to know watch my YouTube video, find out how I got your number. But I do comply with the do not call list, so I've never have any reservations or fear. That'd be one of my fears. If I was not compliant with the do not call list, I probably wouldn't even want to telemarket because it's like, that's scary. If you guys want to do it, more power to you. I can't get away with it. So anyhow, I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you very much for watching. Again, if you want to get all access to every video that you've never seen before, please hit the join button. Otherwise, hit subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I do a lot there. And one-on-one coaching. If you're serious about taking your game to the next level, please go into one-on-one coaching. It's worth it. It'll give you the fast track. All the stuff we just talked about, like I get on your computer and I help you do it so that you don't have to try to figure it out. It's a lot of nerd, geek stuff to try to figure this out, but nothing better than having a great database, sitting down, hitting dial, and getting an appointment because you've got a database that no one else has. And having the edge over the competition, having something that makes you unique, or having unique information, or doing something differently puts you ahead of the competition. So again, thank you very much for watching, and get back to work.
People ask me all the time, where do I get my data? How do I have so many good numbers without spending an arm and a leg? Because I recommend you get it from 3 places, and I merge them to create the ultimate white pages. 2 of them are Cole Realty Resources and TelephoneList.biz. They will provide you names, addresses, phone numbers, along with email addresses scrubbed against the do not call list, available for both US and Canada. Now, have you seen my amazing local market videos for my real estate business? In one word, Terradatum. They make videos branded to your brokerage and automatically update them every month with videos by zip code, county, city, and your hyper-local market, and it's extremely affordable. Have you guys seen my website lately? Well, you should. It's absolutely gorgeous. I owe it all to Zentap. They will help you with your advertising using your MLS, IDX, and social media to attract an audience and engage your leads using sophisticated bots. Now, you're gonna need a powerful CRM to manage all of this, and as you know, Mojo Selling Solutions is more than just a dialer. It's the most powerful CRM bar none. Mojo provides you expireds for sell by owners, and that is the 3rd list of data, along with email and mail campaigns. For more information on any of these products, along with my personal coaching and training products, go to jamesfestini.com today. Or just show financial support at any amount on patreon.com/James Festini. Now, get back to work.